I don't know, right? So we were learning about the detection of gases, the part of practical chemistry. So now we will learn some more gases. For example, take a metal nitrate, a metal nitrate, metal nitrate. Okay, take a metal nitrate and started heating that metal nitrate. Started heating that metal nitrate. Okay, so exception. So not NaNO3 or or KNO3. So these two are exceptions. So take any other metal nitrate except NaNO3 and KNO3. So and heat that metal nitrate. What happens? So upon heating this metal nitrate, you will find certain a gas. A gas is evolved from that material upon heating. So the color of the gas is reddish brown. So color of the gas. So it is reddish brown. So from this it is understood. So which gas will be having reddish brown color? So we can easily identify by looking into the color of the gas as the gas is NO2. So gas may be NO2. Gas may be NO2. So no other gas is reddish brown in color. Now if you smell it, if you order, so what is the order of that one? Pungent, irritating smell. Pungent and irritating. Pungent and irritating smell. So generally, so pungent and irritating smell. From this it is understood that the gas is acidic gas. Generally irritating smell is produced by acidic gases and it is pungent. Very pungent means strong smell. Okay, strong and irritating smell. So it is again further it is because these are the properties of NO2 only. So these are the properties of NO2 gas. Okay. Now take a moist blue litmus paper. So again a litmus test. Litmus test. So moist blue litmus paper. Moist blue litmus paper is turned to red. So when a moist blue litmus paper is introduced into this gas, what happens? So this gas will turn the moist blue litmus paper to red. Okay, so from this it is understood again it is NO2 it's an acidic. So that means NO2 is an acidic gas. Already we learned that ammonia is basic, oxygen, hydrogen and water vapor they are neutral. Okay, and all other 7 gases are acidic gases we learned. Okay, so like this, and even this this NO2 gas, it turns moist potassium iodide paper brown. So potassium iodide paper. So potassium iodide moist paper. Moist paper when it is this is a paper. So what happens? So when it comes into contact with NO2 gas, what happens? It turns to brown. The paper turns to brown color. So brown color is formed. So from this, again it is confirmed that the given gas is NO2. So like this, NO2 gas can be, the gas can be identified as NO2. See, look here, we have chosen metal nitrate and here, so for the production of NO2. So NO2 can also be prepared by the reaction of metal nitrite also. Metal nitrite. When metal nitrite is are made to react with concentrated sulfuric acid. Sorry, metal nitrate are made to react with dilute sulfuric acid, and even in that case also you will get a nitrogen gas, NO2 gas. And even when metals are reacted with a concentrated HNO, when any metal generally reacted with a concentrated HNO3, so you will get a nitrogen dioxide gas. So these are the other methods for the preparation of NO2 gas. So one method is simply by heating metal nitrate. Simply by heating metal nitrate, you will get NO2 gas, or else metal nitrite when reacted with dilute sulfuric acid also produce NO2. Okay, or else metal itself. So metal, simply metal, when made to react with concentrated nitric acid, so in that case also nitrogen dioxide gas is produced. So like this. So these are the tests for nitrogen dioxide gas. So in this way, nitrogen gas, NO2 gas can be detected. So all the gases we find except HNO3 vapors. Now we will learn about HNO3 vapors. Nitric acid vapors. See, actually here when metal nitrate, see in the previous case simply we have heated metal nitrate. Now here also in this case also metal nitrate, but this metal nitrate is made to react, it is boiled, with concentrated sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Metal nitrate with concentrated sulfuric acid. So actually we have to boil this mixture, we have to heat this mixture until the reactants get boiled. So upon boiling the mixture of this one, metal nitrate and concentrated sulfuric acid, you will get a colorless steamy gas. You will get what? Colorless steamy gas. Steamy vapors or steamy gas which is colorless. So colorless means colorless again. So colorless indicates that not Cl2 or nor NO2. It is neither CO2 or neither chlorine nor NO2. So, and these are steamy vapors. Okay. So now if you smell odor is irritating odor. Already we learned about HNO3, nitric acid vapors. So irritating odor. As it is a irritating odor, we can say that it is acidic gas. Maybe HCl or HNO3. So maybe HCl or HNO3. And one more thing, turns moist blue litmus paper red. Even litmus test, with litmus tests also, it turns moist blue to red. That means it is acidic gas. So with litmus test also it is proved that it is acidic gas. Okay, and finally it turns potassium iodide paper brown. So potassium iodide paper, when it comes into contact these vapors, so HNO3 when again potassium iodide paper is here when it comes into contact with HNO3 vapors, so what happens? So that paper turns brown in color. So here it is not moist. So in case of NO2 we have taken moist Ka, but here simply Ka paper with HNO3 vapors. So that potassium iodide paper is turned brown. So from this it is understood that uh, so I mean here it is acting as oxidizing agent. So from this it is understood that the vapors are HNO3 vapors. So all these properties are belong to HNO3, okay, because it is a colorless gas. So even NO2 is also having the similar types of properties, but NO2 gas is reddish brown, but HNO3 vapors are colorless gas. So that is the difference, basic difference between NO2 gas and HNO3. Okay, so from this, so we have learnt the preparation and the properties of all 11 gases. So out of which, so two gases are mainly bleaching, they act as bleaching agents. What are those two gases? Sulfur dioxide and chlorine. Sulfur dioxide acts as show bleaching action by reduction, whereas chlorine shows bleaching action by oxidation. Okay, SO2 is it produces cough. Okay, H2S is a rotten egg smelling gas. So like this, every gas has its own characteristic properties. Okay, right. So with this, we have studied all the 11 gases. And one more thing, so here HNO3 can be prepared by boiling the mixture of metal nitrate with concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, and also here HNO3 can also be prepared by decomposition of hydrated metallic nitrates. Even hydrated metal nitrates upon decomposition. For example, hydrated metal nitrate, for example, zinc nitrate. XH2O, certain number of water molecules. Hydrated zinc nitrate upon heating, upon strongly heating, what happens? So it produces strong heating, it decomposes to form HNO3 and etc. Some other things. Okay. So in this way, even hydrated metal nitrates upon strong heating also will get HNO3 vapors. So like this, we learn about these things in our further classes. Okay, in our next book. Okay, what is that book? I mean ICSE second part 2. So this is the ICSE part 1 book. So in the ICSE part 2 we'll learn some more points. Okay, right. Next, identification of compound by dry heating. Dry heating. So dry heating is a method in which a compound can be, the given compound can be identified. Okay, for example, take a compound. I've taken a compound. I've taken a compound, and that compound is light green amorphous powder. So actually it is amorphous powder. It is light green amorphous powder. Amorphous powder. So solids are of two types. One is crystalline and another one is amorphous. So the solids which are not crystalline are said to be amorphous solids. So crystalline means that when which appears like small crystals. So but amorphous means it appears to be as powder form. Okay, so light green amorphous powder if you take, okay, and upon and heat this one strongly and started heating this one. So we have taken what? Light green amorphous powder and strongly heating. So upon strongly heating of this powder, what happens? A colorless gas is given out from this. A colorless gas is given out from this, and finally, so the light amorphous powder, it is turned into black. It is turned into black color, black substance. It changes light green color changes to black color. So black colored substance is formed. So black colored light green substance is converted into black colored substance, and here colorless gas is produced. So but by testing this colorless gas, it is understood that this gas is CO2. So we know how to test carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide, it is a non-supporter of combustion, okay, and even it is non-combustible. It turns lime water milky. It does not change the color of potassium permanganate, and also it does not react with acidified potassium dichromate. Okay, so and all these, there are several tests for carbon dioxide. We learnt all these things. So by testing this gas, it is understood the gas is CO2. Okay, so which substance will produce CO2 gas on strong heating? Generally, metal carbonates. Metal carbonates, upon strong heating, they produce carbon dioxide gas. In general, metal carbonates, upon strong heating, it produce carbon dioxide. So here, carbon dioxide gas is produced when this substance is heated. So from this it is understood the substance is metal carbonate. Okay, the substance must be metal carbonate. And which metal carbonate will be light green color? Generally, copper carbonate is light green color. Okay, and when copper carbonate is heated, what happens? So it forms a copper oxide and carbon dioxide gas is released. So the color of copper oxide is black in color. So already we have seen as the substance left over is also black in color. So from this it is understood that the given substance or else the substance which we have heated is copper carbonate. So from this, by this test, that means upon dry heating the compound, so finally we could able to find that compound as copper carbonate. That means in this way identification of compounds can be done. Okay, so by dry heating. So this is one compound. So which compound it is? Copper carbonate. So copper 2 carbonate. Now let us learn about another compound. Suppose I have taken light amorphous solid which is white in color. So now before that I have taken light green amorphous solid. Now I have taken a white amorphous solid which is light in weight. So white amorphous solid I have taken, and even this solid also. So it is white amorphous solid which is light in weight, and upon strongly heating this also have evolved a colorless gas. Okay, and finally what happened? The white colored substance, it is turned into pale yellow color. So this white colored substance finally it is turned into pale yellow color. Pale, upon heating, what is happening? It's turned into pale yellow color. Okay. See again, this gas when tested, it is found to be CO2 gas, because CO2, we know the test for CO2 because it extinguishes fire. That means it is not supporter of combustion, it is non-combustible. Okay, it turns lime water milky and all other, based on all other properties. So we learnt, so we can easily find which gas it is. So now the gas is identified as the carbon dioxide gas. So again we know that when metal carbonates on strong heating, it liberates carbon dioxide. So from this it is understood this substance is metal carbonate. The substance is metal carbonate. So which metal carbonate is white in color, and upon heating it turns to pale yellow. So the only metal carbonate which is initially white amorphous solid and turns to pale yellow is it is zinc carbonate. Zinc carbonate will show such behavior. Okay, so only zinc carbonate will show such behavior. because when zinc carbonate is heated, it produces zinc oxide and carbon dioxide gas. Okay, so the color of zinc oxide is pale yellow. It is pale yellow in color. See, this pale yellow in color when hot. Upon cooling further, so it becomes white. See, look here, this substance. So initially I have taken white colored amorphous solid and I have heated, so carbon dioxide gas is evolved, and I got a pale yellow colored substance left over. So from this we can easily, and that pale yellow upon cooling it turns to white. So zinc oxide, the zinc oxide has that nature. So the color of zinc oxide is hot. It is pale yellow when hot, and when it is cooled, it turns to white color. So that means the so formed leftover substance, upon gas is removed from this one. So the substance which is leftover, the leftover substance is generally called as residue. The substance which is left over after the reaction is said to be residue. So here, if you observe the residue, it is pale yellow in color when hot, and when it is cooled, it turns to white. So the only substance which turns to white from pale yellow upon cooling, okay, from hot to cool, when it is cooled, it turns to white. So the only substance is zinc oxide. So from this it is understood that the so formed substance is zinc oxide, and even carbon dioxide is also evolved along with this. So from this, so the metal carbonate is nothing but zinc carbonate. So in this way we can identify the given compound as zinc carbonate by dry heating test. Okay, like this. Right, now let us learn about another compound. See, always remember that zinc oxide is pale yellow when it is hot, and turns white when it is cooled. Okay, right. And one more thing, generally metal carbonates upon strongly heating, they liberate carbon dioxide gas. Okay, right. Next, one more compound. See, a white crystalline solid. Before this, we have learnt about two solids which are amorphous, powdery form. But here take crystalline solid, a white crystalline solid, and heat it strongly. When it is heated strongly, what happens? This solid will swell. Ubadam. It swell. So it swell and releases steamy fumes. It releases steamy vapors. So white crystalline solid, white crystalline solid we have taken, and we have heated it strongly. What happened? So it swells. Ubadam, uppipoyindi. It swells, and finally what happens? It melts. Initially it swells and melts. So upon strong heating, it what happens? It initially swells and finally it melts. Now we got liquid form of it, and from this liquid some vapors, some colorless steamy vapors are produced. Okay, and these steamy vapors they form a colorless colorless drops, liquids, upon condensing on the cooler parts. So these vapors, when they are condensed on the cooler parts, they will produce colorless liquid drops. Okay, so now by testing these colorless liquid drops, the colorless liquid drops is tested. So with finally we got that the colorless liquid drops are water molecules. So from this it is understood these are water vapors. Okay, so what are the tests for water? Water test means, so we can use anhydrous copper sulfate. Anhydrous copper sulfate. So what happens? So anhydrous copper sulfate, when it comes into contact with moisture or water, what happens? So actually anhydrous copper sulfate, which is white in color, so it turns to blue colored copper, hydrated copper sulfate we'll get hydrated copper sulfate. Hydrated copper sulfate we'll get. So it is blue in color. So anhydrous copper sulfate, its formula is CuSO4, and the hydrated copper sulfate, its formula is CuSO4.5H2O. Okay, it is also called as blue vitriol. So in this way, so this gas, the colorless gas vapors, steamy vapors are tested, and finally it is understood that these gas vapors, okay, when they touch the cooler parts of the test tube, they form colorless liquid, and when this colorless liquid is tested by anhydrous copper sulfate, or else even the another substance is also there. So anhydrous cobalt chloride. Anhydrous cobalt chloride. So anhydrous cobalt chloride, actually it is initially blue in color. So when it is come into contact with moisture, so it forms a hydrated cobalt chloride. Okay, it forms hydrated cobalt chloride, which is pink in color. So if you see the formula of this one, it is a COCl2, simply cobalt chloride, COCl2, but here its formula is COCl2.6H2O. Okay, so now it is called as hydrated cobalt chloride. So these two substances, okay, help us to identify the given liquid as water. So from this it is understood that the water vapor is evolved from this one. Okay, now on cooling, white amorphous residue is left. It is anhydrous sodium carbonate. See, from this it is understood the white crystalline solid, it is hydrated solid. As it is hydrated solid, hence it can able to produce these vapors, steamy vapors. So if it is not hydrated solid, it might not given steamy vapors. So from this it is understood it is hydrated solid. See this liquid, finally upon cooling this liquid, again we will get a white amorphous. Here we will get amorphous solid. So we have taken white crystalline solid and heated, so it swells up and melts, and finally upon cooling that molten substance, so finally we got a white amorphous solid. Okay, so the leftover substance is white amorphous solid. So such behavior is shown by only sodium carbonate, hydrated sodium carbonate. Okay, so all these characteristics are nothing but the characteristics of sodium carbonate. Na2CO3.10H2O, it is washing soda. See, already we learned that Na2CO3 upon strong heating, it does not give carbon dioxide. It is an exception. In generally any carbonates, upon strong heating, they liberate carbon dioxide. But Na2CO3 or K2CO3, so these two are exceptions. Upon strong heating, they do not produce carbon dioxide. So then what do they produce? Simply what happens? Actually this is hydrated sodium carbonate. Generally we call it as washing soda. When washing soda is heated, what happens? So it loses its water of crystallization. It loses its water of crystallization, and finally what happens? It turns to Na2CO3. So it is anhydrous. It is called as anhydrous sodium carbonate. Anhydrous sodium carbonate. What is this one? Hydrated sodium carbonate. It is hydrated sodium carbonate. So hydrated sodium carbonate, it is crystalline, white crystalline substance. So when it is heated, it swells. So which substance will no other substance will swell like this, and finally it melts. So the only sodium carbonate and potassium carbonate will show such such properties. So mainly sodium carbonate, it swells when it is heated. It swells by by losing the steamy vapors, and finally it melts, but it does not produce. So it does not decompose and produce carbon dioxide. So this reaction does not occur. Simply what happens? This particular substance, it loses its water and finally convert into sodium carbonate, anhydrous sodium carbonate, and thereupon it stops reacting. Okay, so in this way finally we can come to a conclusion that this particular substance, initial substance, is sodium carbonate, washing soda, sodium carbonate decahydrate, or else simply hydrated sodium carbonate. Decahydrate means 10 water molecules. So like this finally we could able to identify the given compound by using dry test, dry heating. Okay, right. So let us learn the another compound. Let us learn another compound. See, look here. I've taken a test tube. And I have introduced blue crystals. Blue colored crystalline solid. So what is this one? Blue colored crystalline solid. I have taken blue colored crystalline solid and I have strongly heated this substance. What happens? It crumbles. So upon strongly heating, what happens? It crumbles. Crumbles means breakdown. Crumble means breakdown. So this particular substance, it breaks down, okay, and it produces steamy vapors again. Even this also will produce steamy vapors, and these steamy vapors, so when they condense on the cooler parts of the this test tube or else in the container, again it produces a tiny colorless liquid droplets it produces, and again these tiny colorless liquid droplets, when tested, so they were proved to be water molecules. So from this it is understood that the color blue crystalline solid, so it breaks down, it crumbles and releases water vapor. So from this it is understood this particular substance is it is hydrated solid. It is hydrated solid. And what happens? This blue crystalline solid on strong heating, it converts into white amorphous powder. Amorphous powder it forms. Okay, so which substance will show such behavior? So actually copper sulfate pentahydrate CuSO4.5H2O, okay, which is blue in color. So upon strong heating, it loses water of crystallization, it loses its water, so this water is lost, okay, so in the form of vapor. And finally which substance is left over? So it is the leftover substance is anhydrous copper sulfate and that is copper sulfate, so which is white in color, so white amorphous powder. So finally the white amorphous powder was found to be it is uh, it is copper sulfate. So the starting material should be what, as it is blue color, so and that blue color substance is converted to white amorphous powder. Okay, and in that process steamy vapors are produced, and these steamy vapors were found to be water vapor. So from all these things we can conclude that the starting material which we have taken is blue vitriol, so hydrated copper sulfate, or else simply we'll call it as blue vitriol. The other name for this one is blue vitriol. Blue vitriol. Okay, so in this way we can identify, we have identified the given blue colored crystalline solid as copper sulfate pentahydrate, or else simply blue vitriol. So by using dry heating test, simply we have heated this. So what happened? The blue color disappear, and finally it turns into white amorphous powder. Okay, and it is liberating steamy vapors, and when these steamy vapors are tested, so finally, so these steamy vapors, they are condensing, they are condensed to form tiny water droplets on the wall of the test tube, and these tiny water droplets when they were tested, so they were found to be water. So by by characteristics test for water. Okay, by learning the characteristics test for water, so finally, so we can we can conclude that the given substance is a hydrated solid, and it is nothing but blue vitriol, and the formula of blue vitriol is CuSO4.5H2O. So in this way the substance is identified as blue vitriol. So now we will learn the some more compounds in the next class.